edition of Supervisors Report with David Haubert, the very Vice President of the Board of Directors of all of Alameda County. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Marshall.
Oh gosh, it's my pleasure. You always have such nice things to say. How about giving us your supervisor's choice?
Yeah, today I'd like to, as my choice, highlight and uplift the Alameda County Fair. And it's going on right here in Pleasanton in the Tri-Valley where the Alameda County Fairgrounds is located. And it's one of the best fairs in the state of California, in my opinion, Marshall. It's started, let's see, on June 14th, and it goes all the way to July 7th. And I hope that everyone in the Tri-Valley and everyone in Alameda County, and even from outside of our county, has a chance to come and visit the Alameda County Fair. They have great rides. Butler Amusements do all the rides, and they're a top-notch company.
Historically.
Yes, and they've done it for many, many years, and I'll share that I've even gone on a couple of the rides. I love the swing ride and the roller coaster. I don't go on all of them, but I've gone on a few of them. In addition to the rides, which is great, we have horse racing, we have the 4-H club bringing the animals that they've raised, they have pig races and fun things like that. They also have a lot of art that's on display, photography, drawings, table settings even. People get real creative with the theme of their table setting. We feature our local wines that have won some competitions, and they'll have wine tasting in the wine pavilion. They have bands every night. They have movie night. They have all kinds of things that you could have. It's a great time. My hat's off to the Alameda County Fair Board and their team for putting on such a great event every year. My favorite time of the year, Marshall.
Yeah. Any more destructive jewelry, what we used to be called? That's not on anymore.
I don't know if that's there or not. Yeah, I know. But what they do have is ginormous corn dogs. They have extra large corn dogs and regular corn dogs. They have ice cream cones. They have turkey legs. They have funnel cakes. They have French fries that come like in a little mountain of French fries that they deep fry all at once. And I see people walking around with this thing of fries that could feed a family, I think. It's really an amazing event.
This has always been my favorite time of the year for a long, long time. When I was in the 8th grade, I was in a band, and we marched down First Street because we had the Alameda County Fair Parade. And the beautiful thing was, we had wool on and capes, and it was only like 130 degrees. And so if we started at 150 pounds, we ended up at being only 125 pounds. But there was a young man right at the entrance to the fair where the gate is for the racetrack. And he was there with a brand new roll of 50-cent pieces that said 1953 on them, and they're bright and shiny. And to get one of those was just the world to us, because we could change it for 50 pennies and toss pennies. But I saved mine, and I became a coin collector.
Wow, that's amazing, Marshall.
Funny. Acronyms are all over the place. And whenever I look at this, I think of AC-Doocy, but it's ACTC.
Alameda County Transportation Commission.
Tell us about it.
They're a great organization, one of the best run organizations, I think, in the country. Alameda County Transportation Commission receives money that we all voted to tax ourselves, a half of a penny, for transportation projects. They do things like widen the freeways or extend the roadways or build new bridges over the freeways where they're needed. And they only do projects in Alameda County. They take our local tax dollars, but they get federal grants and state grants, and they show that we here locally have some money that we raise, and that attracts money from the federal government, who says, well, if you have some money, we'll give you the rest. So they attract money, they leverage the dollars that we have, and they spend the money back in the different communities. Here in the Tri-Valley, one of the big projects that they're doing is, widening the freeway, the 680 freeway, adding the lane, and
widening it, not making
widening it,
okay.
And adding lanes, and one of them will be a toll lane, and it will help relieve congestion. That's in partnership with Caltrans and the federal government. In addition, they're doing a big project, which is connecting Dublin Boulevard all the way to North Canyons Parkway in Livermore, and making that a thoroughfare now that we can drive all the way through without getting on the freeway. That'll take a lot of traffic off the freeway and allow, for example, paramedics will be able to travel on that road and
Yes.
get to people that might need that. So the Alameda County Transportation Commission, just so everyone knows, every mayor sits on ACTC as
They
a
still
board.
meet in Oakland?
They still meet in Oakland, right on Broadway, and all 5 county supervisors are part of Alameda County Transportation Commission. Oakland gets 2 votes, I think, because they're a little bit bigger than everyone else. But every mayor in the county, as well as the County Board of Supervisors, all of our money going there, leveraging dollars from the federal government and the state government to build transportation projects here in Alameda County. They do a great job. And the big thing to report out, as I mentioned, the extension of Dublin Boulevard to North Canyons Parkway. They are right in the middle of that, helping to design it, helping to provide funding for it. Of course, that is going to be up to a lot of other decision makers, the City of Dublin, the City of Livermore, the county that has land, unincorporated Alameda County that runs through that stretch of land. All of those decision makers will have to decide how and when to do that, but ACTC will step in with the expertise of design and engineering and funding
Yes.
to get it done.
There you go. My fondest memory of ACTC is that back in those days, Rob Bonta was just a lowly city council member from Alameda. And now it goes to show you, you could become Attorney General.
Yeah, that's right, and then some. Yeah.
I love this name, Juneteenth. Well, what teenth? Is it the 13th? Is it the 18th?
Yes.
Which teenth is it?
It's in June.
Okay.
And it's the 19th of June, and it is now has been for a couple years a federal holiday. In Alameda County, we made it a county holiday, and all the details in a nutshell are that when we went through our Civil War and came out of that and abolished slavery, and back then we didn't have the internet and things took a long time to get the word out. Well, in Texas, the word didn't get out for quite some time, and finally on the 19th of June, and I don't know the exact year, Marshall, but finally in June of a year after the war, after it was over, after slavery was abolished, word got to Texas. And so in the African American community, in the black community, Juneteenth is a very important day because that's when many of them first heard that they were free, first heard the war was over.
Yes, and that's what validated the Emancipation Proclamation, finally.
Yes.
It is a big day.
We celebrate that, and we do that here in Alameda County. Not only is it a holiday, but just about every community has something going on. The 15th of June, Livermore had something over at the Bankhead Theater. And around the county, Oakland is celebrating, Hayward is celebrating. Each city is probably doing something to recognize, celebrate, and observe Juneteenth. Now, we made it a holiday, and it was discussed, should we make it a floating holiday that you could pick whenever you want to celebrate? And we made the decision, and I agreed with it. In fact, it was my idea, to actually make it on the day. Take that day off so that you can celebrate that day. If you make it any day you want, then you sort of loses its meaning of why are you celebrating that day. And so in Alameda County, we didn't make it a floating holiday. We take that day off. Now, I'll be honest, I had a couple of meetings that day anyway, Marshall. I had to work on Juneteenth, but for the most part took the day off and reflected and celebrated on exactly why we're taking a break on that day.
Well, the banks were anxious to observe it.
That's right. And the stock market was closed and all of that. You're right. So
it seems that we're perpetually talking about one of our favorite topics, the Alameda County Coliseum. There's now more news.
Well, indeed, the latest is that the county we know has already sold its share to the A's. That hasn't closed escrow yet because we have to wait for the bonds to finally be retired. That'll happen in February of 26. And that whole land sale to the A's is still under litigation. People thought that we shouldn't even be able to sell to the A's. We should have been able to sell to another public agency. So we're actually under litigation for that. But what came about is that the city also wants to sell its half, and they want to sell it to the African American Sports and Entertainment Group, which then might also buy the half that the A's have and put it all together. The whole idea is to get it under one ownership by somebody that has the capability to develop that site, to redevelop that site. And that's what we're marching towards. And the sooner the city of Oakland can sell its half, and then the sooner the A's can sell its half to the African American Sports and Entertainment Group, the better. They have a great plan to redevelop with some housing, some commercial, some sports and entertainment facilities, a new stadium, things like that. But they can't do it unless they get ownership of the whole property.
Well, then there's no truth to the rumor that Nate Miley was really going to buy it for himself.
I don't think so. Okay. And I'm not sure he could afford it either.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back on this edition of Supervisors Report in just a moment. Welcome back to this edition of Supervisors Report. We're talking here with the Alameda County Vice Chairman of the Board, Supervisor David Haubert. Welcome back.
Thanks, Marshall.
You know, the Tri-Valley Conservancy is such a nice name. It's got to be a good thing.
It's a great thing, Marshall, and they're a great partner. I would call them an indispensable partner with us here in the Tri-Valley. And as we seek to protect and preserve open space, we work with groups like Tri-Valley Conservancy. When people say, we're going to protect this open space, you have to remember, well, somebody still has to manage it. And what happens very often is if somebody has a project that they want to do and they have to dedicate land for open space, they don't want to manage it ongoingly. They want to build the project they want to build, and they want to give open space to somebody who will manage it. Well, who's going to take it? Tri-Valley Conservancy steps in. They provide a very important value in that regard. And so if you drive around town, you'll see these big signs that say Tri-Valley Conservancy, and it'll give a little explanation of what they do.
It's unique, though, to our county, isn't it?
You need those. It's unique. Well, conservancies exist elsewhere. All of the open space is under conservancy by various different land groups. Here in the Tri-Valley, it's the Tri-Valley Conservancy. And they do a wonderful job. They make sure that the land is indeed under conservatorship. They manage the land. They make sure that it's fire safe, and they make sure that nothing bad happens on the land. And they just do a really good job. They're also very good a sounding board. When I have projects that come before me as a member of the Board of Supervisors, I'll often ask an applicant, for your open space, who are you dedicating it to manage it? And when they say the Tri-Valley Conservancy, I pick up the phone and I call the Tri-Valley Conservancy and I say, do you like this project? Is this a good project? You live in our community. You're in charge of managing all of the open space that we have. What do you think about this project? And if they give me a thumbs up, then that means a lot to me. So I rely on them for being a good sounding board, but we also rely on them every day to manage the property that is under their care. So they're really good for that reason, Marshall.
Sounds like you go the extra mile for these people.
Would absolutely do everything I can to protect and preserve the Tri-Valley Conservancy, because they protect and conserve all of our open space. I think very highly of them. They're very knowledgeable, and they provide a service that we absolutely need. So my hat's off to the Tri-Valley Conservancy. They've been around for many years, and I know many of the people that are on the
Absolutely. And just the very thought of them makes me think of the next topic, which is another really important organization, the Tri-Valley Haven.
Yeah.
Now, this domestic shelter has been with us for quite some time, and I'm sorry we have a need for it, but boy, they go beyond. Yeah. Tell us about it.
So they are an amazing group, and it's all about the people, and the people at Tri-Valley Haven just have a heart to help those that are in trouble. When you have, basically for the most part, single moms that are fleeing domestic violence, sometimes in the middle of the night, and they have no place to go, Tri-Valley Haven opens their door. They have need, though, for a new facility. So last year, the county granted them $2 million, which is a partial payment of what they need to rebuild their facility. It's very old, but they'll bring in about 45 people, 30 today, and when they're done rebuilding, it'll be 45, so we're going to expand capacity, but they'll bring the capacity at that point to house 45 individuals. including their families,
And
and
take teenage boys.
including teenage boys. And I never realized this until I was told this. Turns out teenage boys are a handful, and so a lot of places won't take a mom with a teenage boy. She's fleeing domestic violence. If she has to leave her son in a situation that's not very safe,
Right.
they might have to make that choice. Not with Tri-Valley Haven. They can bring their son with them. And maybe the son has siblings and you don't want to break up the family. In all of Alameda County, Tri-Valley Haven's the only one that will take in teenage boys. So it's very important that we rebuild Tri-Valley Haven, that we expand the capacity from 30 to 45, that we continue to let them do what is so important for us to have done in our county. And my hat's off to them. Christine at Tri-Valley Haven runs a great program. All of her staff are amazing. And what I really like is the people that we call them the alumni that have graduated or that have gone on with the rest of their life. They've been able to move on. And that's so important. And if they weren't able to move on, Marshall, they would be poorer outcomes for those people. So they really help enrich and save the lives of so many people that are in such a vulnerable position fleeing abuse.
One of our previous mayors, Kathy Brown, was extremely active in that program and really gave it a lot of help. And my hat is off to her, and I think about it as you have spoken, and it's really something.
People like that had the vision. Marshall, your former mayor, had the vision, and we've just seen that through the last 30, 40 years, and we're going to see it. My vision is it continues on for the next 40 years after we rebuild it.
By that time, you'll almost be 60.
I'll be ready, that's right.
Announcements. By gosh, do you have any announcements or event that you'd like to talk about?
I want to say that, we know that school's out, okay, for the summer, and that means that we're in summer. I want to wish everyone a safe, enjoyable, restful break over the summer. For many families, that means taking a family vacation. But it also means the ability to take a staycation, which is to stay here in the Tri-Valley. And when you do, look for each of your communities that have concerts in the park, farmers market nights, things like that, activities to do, strolling down Main Street in Pleasanton on a Wednesday. Downtown Livermore has so many events. All the communities have concerts in the park. They're absolutely amazing, talented, fun things to do that don't cost any money or not much money at all. And so I wish everybody go check out the calendars, pick the dates that you like. I'd like to hit as many of them as I can. I just have a blast, and it's free.
Well, is there any truth to this rumor that you might visit the David Haubert Memorial Wave?
If you're smart, you might take a hot, hot day and go down that world-famous water slide, Marshall, that we have.
Yes.
Yeah, wish everybody a happy, enjoyable summer because it goes by so quickly.
Thank you, Supervisor Haubert, for being here today and updating us. I'm Marshall Kamena. Join me for the next episode of Supervisors Report with David Haubert right here on Tri-Valley TV. Thank you for watching.